One of these Z06s scares me. While the other one flat out impresses me. One of these Z06s makes more sense, and the other makes more fun. You think you would know which one I prefer, but honestly, you are probably wrong. If I had to sell one, which Z06 would stay? And which Z06 would have to go? I'm sure I'll know your thoughts by the end of this video. Right here behind me are two of my Z06s, my C8 Z06 and my C6 Z06. The C6 Z06 is really my OG. I've had that car since 2013. Originally bought it with about 60-something thousand miles on it, and now it has 226,000 miles on it. The C8 Z06 now is like one of my most favorite cars I own, and that thing is absolutely incredible. I've only had it for about 3 years now, but the thing has been super cool, and honestly, it's gonna get up to that 200,000 mile range as well. We are gonna do a comparison on both of these cars because they both come from different realms, if I say that in the best way. This realm is more now supercar realm. This is still kind of that sports car realm with supercar type performance for its time period, and honestly, even its performance today still can rival a bunch of supercars. This is my 2023 C8 Z06 and my 2006 C6 Z06. During this whole video, I want you to stay engaged, go in the comments, let me know your thoughts as I'm talking through different things with both of these cars and we're using them, performance, all that stuff. Just let me know in the comments how you're feeling as I'm going through everything. The first thing we're gonna start off with talking about is the exterior of both of these cars. And I wanted to kind of take a step back so you can kind of see there are similarities. Yes, this is a massive departure from what the Corvettes used to be with the C1 all the way through C7s, you know, but even this C6, if you look at the C6 to C8 Z06, there is a lot of differences, but there's still Corvette DNA. When you look at different parts and pieces of it, I see C6 in here a bit, you know, C8, I don't see the C8 in that much, but there is DNA in both of them that is still that wonderful bread and butter DNA for the Corvette. So looking at the exterior, we'll start off with the C8 Z06. So the exterior side of it, obviously got different modifications on this car. So we'll start with the wheels, right? So I have the Forgedlite MC5 wheels, all four corners, 21 by 13 in the rear, and then 20-inch by 10 in the front. And that's stock fitment, but the offset on these are just much better than stock, which gives it a nice offset. As you can see, going over here to the C6 Z06, I got a mismatch of wheels. I got these like cheap XXRs right here because this is my drift car, and then I have these amazing Kanze wheels up front, which they're a little bit dirty right now, and this car is dirty because it's a drift car, but you can clearly see there is a way different kind of offset on this car as there is on this. The reason why is this is a drift car and it has drift suspension up front, so it actually has a steering angle kit up front which allows these wheels and tires to turn at like probably 60-70 degrees, whereas the steering angle for a stock like let's say C8 Z06 is probably, I don't know, 28 to 30 degrees or so way over double the amount of steering angle on this, which allows me to slide sideways and not spin out. Whereas if I tried to, you know, get sideways in the C8 Z06 at the same steering angle as I do with this, I would spin out with the C8 Z and end up in a wall. Now looking at the front of the C8 Z06, you can clearly see I have a massive front splitter here. It's our Z07R front splitter, which you can find at Iwuji.com. We got these EOS canards. All this helps out with front downforce where I'm road coursing the car, driving in the canyons and such. But then when you come over here to the C6 Z06, I got this very cheap carbon fiber front splitter. But the reason why it's very cheap is because when you're drifting and you're sometimes going off of tracks or sometimes getting into people, you don't want to have it super expensive. Like this front splitter right here is like almost $2,000. This front splitter right here is like $150. But that's because you lose these all the time on track. Taking a step back, there's obviously a similarity going on here with wings, right? Two massive wings. This on the C8 Z06 Z06 is a C8 ZR1 wing. It's an OEM C8 ZR1 wing. It's not a replica, it's a real OEM wing. And then this one's an APR GTC 500 wing. It's pretty good. I used to road course this car before I turned it into a drift car, and that's when I originally got that wing back in 2014, I would say. And it was like one of the best modifications I actually did for the C6 Z06. The amount of grip it allowed me to have and downforce was incredible, and it just turned my lap times around. I mean, I was gaining seconds and seconds at every single track I went to because of adding this wing and also adding a decent tire to run on the track. And then the C8 Z06, I just recently installed the C8 ZR1 wing on it, so I haven't really gotten a chance to truly test it on track, but I will soon. And when I do test it, it's going to be a pretty fun time. I know this thing is going to provide a ton of downforce, and the reason I know why is because you can look at the surface area of the wing that this has. It has the same angle of attack as you can actually make that one about 15-20 degrees of angle of attack, and then this one is like 10 degrees of stuck at it. So this one's not adjustable. My APR wing is adjustable on the C6Z, but you can see it's similar type of surface area as far as the amount of surface area you get on an APR wing versus this one. But I think honestly, all the way around, if I look at the C8 ZR1 wing versus the APR wing, this one all the way from like here to end might have more total surface area, because that one kind of goes from smaller to bigger, if you can see how it is right here. But they're both good, but they're both different in a lot of ways. Who knows? We'll find out when I get both of these, actually get this back on track and see how this ZR1 wing helps. Later in this video, you will hear both of these cars singing as we're going on the drives and stuff. I don't want to be revving up here in this neighborhood, you know, upsetting anybody, but we will get out on the roads and track and stuff like that and rev these up so you can hear the exhaust. We always like to do that exhaust check and compare exhaust. You'll hear that on the roads when we go on the drives, but the exhaust that's on this, you got the Phoenix Designs downpipes with the AWE catback on the C8 Z06, and then you just have some amazing Pro Speed Performance 1 long tubes on that, and then stock exhaust for the rest of the way through. And then I believe there's T-Flow mufflers as well on here. So that's the combination, nothing too crazy. It's not like a crazy expensive exhaust system on there. The exhaust system on this one is way more expensive. In fact, total exhaust parts between catback and the downpipes, all that stuff, you're looking at like, I don't know, all together, everything like well over $4,000. This, I think all I spent was like maybe, I don't know, $500-600, nothing crazy. It's way cheaper, but this is ridiculously loud due to the engine package on this. And speaking of engine package here, so you have the LT6 motor here. It's a 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8 with the Venturi air intake, 91 millimeter Porter throttle bodies, and this 5.5 liter, it sings. It makes power, it does well. 670 horsepower to the motor, but to the wheels, when I originally dynoed this car to the wheels, it made about 616 to the wheels. 616, 66, or 617, something like that. To the wheels, that's how much this car made. Now, I haven't dynoed it really since to get the proper numbers, but actually, well, did dyno it, but we didn't get the proper numbers. I'm gonna go back to dyno and get the proper numbers on it. I believe this thing is gonna be making way more than the 616, 617 that we made before when it was bone stock, but it makes pretty good power from the factory, and with a few little bolt-ons, makes some extra power. And then when you raise up the hood on this right here, you have the LS7 motor. So it's a 7-liter motor, and stock from the factory, this thing makes 505 horsepower. And to the wheels, when I dynoed this stock, it made about 430 horsepower to the wheels. And then since then, I've done heads and cam package, and then added the supercharger. The supercharger is only set at 5 pounds of boost, but all that together between the heads, cam, and blower, everything all together, this car now makes about 580 horsepower to the wheel. So actually not that much less than the C8 Z06, but this car also is about 600 pounds lighter than the C8 Z06. So speed-wise, they might actually be somewhat comparable speed-wise. If I turn this car back into like a drag car or something like that, I think they'd be very, very comparable. Now we're gonna look on the interior. So obviously, a lot of people used to hate on the interior of the C6 Z06s, C6 Corvettes, because they said it was super basic. Honestly, for a 2006 car, this is not bad. This is everything you need for a sports car. Now, don't worry about some of the jankiness I have on here going on right now. You know, obviously it's not the stock seat here. It is still stock seat there. But my stock seat after 20 years, this is a stock C6 Z06 seat that I originally got with this car. After 20 years is in still impeccable shape. It's like a little dirty from a couple little things I've put in here, but it could easily, like if you just like spent time and just cleaned it up real quick, this is doing really good, really good. You still got, I got Apple CarPlay with this aftermarket dash right here. AC kind of works, I don't know. I got an aftermarket shifter here. Got my hydraulic e-brake for pulling the e-brake when I want to, you know, initiate a drift. This stock e-brake doesn't really work anymore. I got an aftermarket NRG wheel here, and then it comes on and off. And then, you know, this seat that I've had for a long time, because once again, this is a drift car now. It's not really my street car. You do got 3 pedals because this is a manual transmission, 6-speed, but overall interior on these cars isn't bad at all. Clearly the C8 Z06 wins the challenge when it comes to interiors between both of these cars. The C8 Z06 interior is supercar level interior. Love everything about it. Some of the carbon bits on it, the way the seats look, the way the seats hug. It's the best seat Corvette has put out to date, for sure, for all their cars. You know, you got big screen, you got all the Apple CarPlay stuff, you know, AC works, everything. Plenty of space in here for short people, tall people, you name it. It's only 2 seats like they always are. And you can even see behind on the engine bay right there, which is actually pretty cool. But overall, the interiors on the C8 platform they're really nice. They definitely stepped up their game a ton and they made it work. The C8 Z06 is really super solid. Now, one thing I want to look at real quick is trunk space and front space, right? So here on the C8 Z06, this trunk space here is good enough to put a golf bag and some other bags in here. You can put backpacks and some other things. Small luggage cases can go back here. It's a little bit tighter now that I got the Venturi air intake, but if you left it stock, you actually have some pretty decent space here in the trunk. And then we'll look at the front real quick. When you move up to the front actually has some decent space as well. I got mine a little bit packed right now, but you'll take a quick look. But you can look at the front. You got some space here. Now, for the ZR1 owners, unfortunately, you don't have any space up here because you can't use your front anymore. But it's still a pretty decent front. I can fit a small luggage case here, backpacks, things like that. So you can actually travel with this car with 2 people, not just one, with 2 people. When I'm bragging about the C6 Z06, this is what I tell people and I show people. I show them how big this trunk was. As you can see, right before I opened up this trunk right here, sorry, with my big wing and all the weight of the big wing, unfortunately, these little struts don't hold it up anymore. I know there is a way to upgrade it. Sorry, I haven't upgraded because I've been lazy. But anyways, I just use this little mop handle thing right here to hold it up. But anyways, you can see how big this trunk was. The rear hatch was fully closed. It wasn't sticking up at all. And I still can fit 2 18-inch wheels and tires here. I can fit a bunch of tools. I can actually fit my jack here and my tool bag and extra stuff. I don't even have everything in here right now, but you can clearly see, even with 2 wheels and tires here, how much space I still have to put a ton of stuff here on the C6 Z06. There is no other Corvette in the world that has this level of space. And that's why I say pound for pound, this is one of the best Corvettes ever made, because you get 505 horsepower from the factory, LS7 V8, it's 3,100 pounds, super light. You got an aluminum chassis. The motor lasts forever. It's a manual transmission, 6-speed. And then look at this trunk space. You can carry so much stuff. You can I've even had my snowboard, you know, diagonally here. It doesn't even go into the front. It just literally fits in the back. Like, it doesn't even push up at all. You can put your snowboard and a backpack, and I can fit like your massive check-in luggage. I can fit at least 2 of those here plus more. You can fit so much stuff here in the back of this car, and guess what? It actually closes. And for those of you who don't believe me, I mean, you probably weren't watching the first part of this video, but I'll try to use 2 hands to make this happen. I'm gonna put this down. Watch this. Even with all this stuff, you got a helmet, you got 2 wheels and tires, you got this gardening water thing that you can spray for spraying tires and stuff. And once again, I can fit a jack right here, and I can fit a big tool bag right there. You can fit all this stuff, and then boom, it closes flat. It is flat and smooth and closed. There's Corvette haters out there who don't believe that these cars are amazing, and you just saw it right there. All that fitting in the back. So I can literally drive to the drift track with the spare tires in the trunk, throw them out, you know, get everything out of the car, go drifting, switch to my next tires, and then go home. Like, I can do that with that car without ever trailering. That's why I hardly ever trailer my C6 Z06, because it rarely ever needs it. So now that you've seen the exterior, you've seen the interior, you've seen both engine bays, you've seen the mods, you've seen all that stuff for the car. Next up, we gotta go on a drive. I'm gonna go on a drive with the C8 Z06 at first and just talk to you about the amazingness of that car. And then after that, going on a drive with the C6 Z06. It's not gonna be just any drive, it's going to be a pretty exciting one.
Now we're doing the drive in the C8 Z06. I'll put the windows down a little bit so you can hear it. GM did such an amazing job on this car, and it's such a crazy departure from the C6 Z06. C6 Z06 was an LS7 cross-plane crank V8, and it didn't sound like this. It still sounded amazing though, but not like this. Flat plane crank V8. Still 670 horsepower naturally aspirated. Unlike the C6 Z06, which was 505 horsepower naturally aspirated. Mine is now supercharged. That sound is something I can never, ever, ever get. I can't get annoyed at that sound. It is so good. And I'm so happy GM did switch to this. It is a lot different than, yes, your prior cross-plane cranks. When you look at, the C6 Z06, even the C7 Z06, those cars, they were very beefy as far as the sound. You had that big, burly V8, 6.2 liter for the C7 Z06, 7 liter for the C6 Z06. But then we went with a smaller motor for the C8 Z06, and man, that departure from the old has been everything. I think there's a newfound love for Z06s nowadays with this new style flat plane crank V8, and I hope GM never goes away from it. It is an incredible motor. It makes power. Even for a 5.5 liter, think about it, it's a 5.5 liter that spins up to 8,600 RPM. The C6 Z06 did not spin up to 8,600 RPM. It did 7,000 RPM, which at the time, 7,000 was a lot for a V8. Most V8s at the time, 6,000, 6,500, but 6,200 or so. But for this car to now jump all the way up to 8,600 RPM, you just hear that thing sing. And it gets up, it's responsive. It's responsive. Now, yes, this car is definitely a lot heavier than the old Z06s, right? The C6 Z06 is 3,100 pounds from the factory. The C8 Z06 is like 3,700, almost 3,800 pounds from the factory, which is a lot. But the added power really makes a difference. And it allows this thing to just really get up and go. And then the gearing. C6 Z06 is, 6-speed manual. With the manual's really, really fun. But then this DCT with 8-speed, like first, second, third, fourth is really, really aggressive with these cars. And I don't think anybody can really say it's not. I mean, when you get in these cars, first and fourth is incredible. Now, fifth, I think, is stronger in a C6 Z06 as far as allowing you to get to top speeds and six in the C6 Z06, but the C8 Z06 fit is not really all that. It's really not much at all. Why? I don't know why they geared it like that, but the top speeds on these cars aren't that great for the C8 Z06. But once again, who can ever get bored with this sound? The acceleration, the pull, everything, the braking ability. I mean, golly, this thing brakes. It brakes. The brakes are amazing. Yes, bigger brakes, bigger everything, bigger weight, bigger size. Everything is bigger on this car, but man, it doesn't feel bigger. This thing still feels super nimble, like a Miata, like a C6 Z06. It's just nimble, gets around. And that's why this car has better lap times around tracks than the C6 Z06. C6 Z06 cannot lap around a track the same way this car does. Man. GM did such an amazing job creating the C8Z, and when you get the driving experience that you get in this car, there's not much that can compare to it, right? I mean, there's other cars that are similar level, but man, the C8 Z, it is something else. Not taking anything away from the C6 Z, still an amazing car, but I mean, how can you you get so much bang for your buck with this car for just over $100,000? You get all this. How can you beat that? It's pretty amazing. But the C6 Z, it can do that by itself. That thing is still one of the best pound for pound cars for the price. Best in the world. Like, I mean, you for 30 something, 40 grand, you can get yourself a C6 Z06 right now. And what cars can you get that have that big of a V8, that much space, manual transmission, good speed, good quarter mile, good road course ability, all that stuff for that kind of price? You just can't. It's hard to beat that. But then you step up to the big boys league, like the C8 Z06. It does take you to a whole nother level. But man, now that my C6 Z06 is my drift car, it's showing the versatility by being able to be a drift car. You can drag race with it, road course with it, or drift with it. But now that my C6 Z06 has turned into that drift car, that thing rips. And you'll see it here in 3, 2, 1.
So now you've seen the Corvette C8 Z06 driving, you've seen the C6 Z06 as an absolute monster drifting on the track. They are both two separate but very different, but in some ways similar cars. A lot of power, V8s, Corvettes, but they do different things. And you can see just how versatile now both of these cars are, especially the C6 Z06. Man, I wish I could take this thing to the drag strip and show you this thing run on a drag strip. I wish I could show you how it runs on a road course, man. This thing has done everything. I've literally taken it on more tracks than any other car I've ever owned, and it's been incredible. I've loved it. It's been great. But now you've seen them both. Let me know in the comments, which one do you like better? Is the C6 Z06 your thing, or is it the C8 Z06? Which one? Let me know in the comments right now. Go and just type away. Let me know. But man, it's been super fun. Glad you got to see different angles of both cars. It's been fun. It's been cool. Both cars have been amazing to me and have allowed me to do so much with bettering myself on track, whether it's doing road course stuff and drag racing with the C8 Z06 or drifting with the C6 Z06. All of them have taught me many, many things, and I'm super, super grateful for that. In fact, this was what helped me lead, I guess, start moving towards racing in NASCAR. Originally kind of started with this car. So much story with this car. Maybe I should do a fully separate video on just kind of my journey into the NASCAR world and how it started, how I got there, and how it's going right now. But man, that was super fun. This video was awesome. Glad I got to compare both of these cars. Let me know which one in the comments is your favorite, which one you might, if you had a daily one and if you had to have one just for fun, which would it be? Let me know. I might know what you're gonna say, but let me know in the comments. Anyways, if you haven't clicked the like button, click the like button. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button, click the subscribe button. If you haven't done any of that stuff ever, just do it, please. Don't watch the videos and just sit there and not subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment, engage. I respond to comments, all that fun stuff. You all know. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a super fun video. I can't wait to make the next. And yeah, maybe I might get a lap or two more drifting. We'll see. If I do, you'll see it right after this.